Gabe and Aaron disagreed, of course, as the assignment was, and Gabe chose an interesting topic to really focus on. He pretty much said that the farmers did what they did and were motivated to go up against these companies because they felt that this kind of business, especially farming, but pretty much everything else, should be equal and everyone should have um, the same amount of resources to do what they did. Now, this kind of seems a little bit like communism. Everyone starting on the same level and doing everything the same. Stuff like, but then the big companies had a lot of land. They had a lot more resources, things like gold or silver or zinc, and they had the railroad cars and the telegraphs. But Gabe thought that they thought that everyone should be on the same field of play, and that but to do that they had to break down these monopolies and pretty much redistribute the wealth by redistributing the who bought what from who. Um, the small farmers, a lot of African Americans were out there. Slavery had ended not too long ago, and that was pretty much a lot of jobs that were out there because it's pretty much what they grew up doing, I guess. Picking cotton, they've been around the farm scene. Um, so yeah, things like the telegraph, definitely some stuff that industrial companies owned. But Aaron, on the other hand, disagreed with that and thought that it was all about really for the big companies that were making money, that the redistribution of wealth was not really a religious thing. It was really just an economic thing, and they were upset with the wages, and they were upset with the working hours, and they needed to do something about it. So there were strikes and riots, and Aaron pretty much said that these ideas that they had about redistribution of wealth and land was the beginning of socialism. And through these riots, I guess they put an idea, planted a seed, if you will, the roots of socialism. Whereas Gabe, on the other hand, said came from Jesus, who pretty much taught that everyone's equal and everyone should have equal things and no one should be above anyone, no one above God. And the industrial giants, of course, did not like this. They liked having power. When they had power in the economy, they had power in the government. Pretty greedy people, but at the same time, they were pretty smart and they capitalized off of certain situations. And speaking of monopolies, not many people know that AT&T was the biggest monopoly of telephones. And in the 80s, a famous court case, United States versus AT&T, forced AT&T to break up into 7 different companies. AT&T was given control of international calls, and their 7 little individual companies took over statewide, couple statewide areas, and most notably that came out of it was Verizon, which is kind of funny that their biggest competitor came from their company. That's pretty much it. I'm a little sick, but it's cool to see how full circle how an idea from the 1980s has come to now, and I really agree with Aaron on this one. I feel Gabe was a little off, but he was onto something. I mean, you can't say he was wrong. You can't say he was wrong in an argument. It was definitely something that was going on at that time period, but I just feel that Aaron's argument is more structured, and you can definitely see how it has affected the future. And also, car manufacturer GM was also bailed out, and that was kind of big act by Obama. Very criticized for that socialist act of actually bailing out an entire car company and many others. And then you gotta ask yourself when does it end? Because eventually the government, if we keep continually having a big government, when is this gonna end? When are we gonna stop bailing out companies, and when are they going to finally get on their feet? And I know that the car manufacturers happened a long time ago, but, is there an end to the socialist America, or are we going to continue down the path that we are on? As it seems, tradition in the South especially, they like to hold on to their traditional values, and that was eventually the downfall of the Populist Party and the farmers and pretty much all that they tried to stand for when they dove too deep into poverty and just could not come out, according to the article that we read on the Populist Party tried to get back on its feet with president elections and whatnot, but they dove down too deep, and this was one that they could not recover from, unfortunately. But their ideas that did spark what we know today as socialism was very important, and we have that today.